Hello, and welcome to episode 14 of Flesh and Pod. As you might notice, the dulcet tones of Abby D83 are not here today, and I will be taking over those duties in a guaranteed to be terrible capacity. But I will do my best to keep us on the rails, which means we will not even remotely be on the rails. And with me, as always, are Jordan and Daylon. Oh, wait, hold on. One of those is wrong. Our guest today is Daylon Mack. Daylon, welcome to the show.
Hey, happy to be here.
These are things I never will I be saying. Friend of the podcast, Daylon Mack, is on the show. Daylon, what did you do in Flesh and Blood this week?
This week, did a lot of testing, getting ready for Indy. I went to a Pro Quest. I went to 4-2. Didn't make top cut. I've seen so many people make the top cut off 4-2, but I've not been one of those this season. But I found some success early on. I got a win, so there really wasn't too much pressure. And I found myself playing against someone that needed to get in top cut to get their invite. I probably would have scooped anyways. But yeah, I had a really fun week playing Flesh and Blood.
Gotta know, did you lose round one though? Because that's the key to winning.
Yeah, so I actually lost round one. I played against it was a mirror match, and I didn't draw a yellow for like 2 turns in a row, and I was like, okay, you probably just happened.
Well, that'll happen.
Oops. Are those important? If so, why? Yeah.
I've read that in Prism they make a difference, and I can't recall why. Something books. I don't remember.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
Yeah, really, it was actually unbelievable because like in that particular matchup, the mirror, I'm playing like 35 yellows, which is like the most I play, and I didn't draw one. So I was like, okay, this is how round one's going.
Not my day.
You're like 10% to not draw a yellow. That's bananas.
Like it's super crazy, right? Like 2 turns in a row.
That's reds and
gross.
Where they at least have some blues or something, so you could do something.
Yeah, so like the first one was like 1 red, 3 blues, and then the second one was just like 4 blues. Like, and they were all the 0 cost auras, so I couldn't even attack. I'm like, wow, this is like insane.
A literal worse.
It's like, this is how today's gonna go. Sweet, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Been there, lived through that life. It's not great. Jordan, what did you get up to?
I played a Pro Quest on Saturday in Epic Loot in Dayton for Ohio people, kind of like West Ohio's premier store. I started off 3-0 and then had the crushing 0-3 to finish the day. So I was pretty dejected at towards the tail end because I got the pair down in round 4 and then lost, and then I think I just kind of went on life tilt. I played New Bravo. Lost to like really winnable games that like just late stage Bravo. I don't think I stacked my deck correctly at a certain point. I must have made some mistake somewhere with like filtering crown or something. Just like quick boneheaded moves, and on the second pass through was like, oh yikes, we are not winning this game. So
that's the weirdness of Starvo though, right? Like it's just the deck operates 95% on its own, and then you have the margins.
Yeah,
and those little margins are your game winners in the harder matchups.
Right. And it was, so 2 of my losses were to like Viscerai, where I got them down to 9. They had been building up, and I had like double pumped an Oakenold twice, and then I just missed for 2 turns in a row, and that was like enough for them to like kill me from 40. And then I lost a mirror where, like I said, I really mismanaged stacking the bottom of my deck, and I don't know what happened or where it happened, but I think it's just.
Drawing off happens.
Yeah, I just need to be paying better attention, and like a little frustrated that was the mental error. Because, like you said, I think if you're losing with Strava right now in like winnable matchups, like a lot of it can be on you with how you're setting your deck up. So that part was annoying.
The mirror match is always like a really weird one. I've talked to a couple of guys on my testing team, and we always talk about like how they're approaching it and stuff like that. Yeah, I think one card that they said they're playing is Crush Confidence in the mirror match.
Yeah,
because you can turn off the opposing player's leader ability. I'm like, that's actually really, really good.
Yeah, it was really good in the matchup that I played it in, except he still managed to fuse an Oakenold the turn after I crushed him, because I crushed him and was like, oh man, I cannot lose this game now. Like, regardless of what his hand is, it's not going to be that hand next turn anyway. So, like, sweet. And then he was like, actually, just like Oakenold you anyway. And I was like, oh, no.
Only for 9, though, not 11.
The card is still pretty good by itself, turns out. But no, I think Crush Confidence is actually just like, probably should be the maybe the default like 2 that you play as your non-elementals, and like it's good against a bunch of decks, right? So
They were in the list that we iterated, that I Dagon one, I believe, with, and then once the worm was turning to Prism again, we took out the crushes and put back in just even more defense reacts and go even tall, like just okay, maximize elementals except for in the matchups where you need to just basically run an almost fatigue plan.
Yeah. I played 9D reacts on Saturday in the Stravo mirror. I played the Fae Foreseen staunches and yeah, and I don't know if that's right. I think like there's some like metagaming there where like if one person bobs and you weave, you're all right, but if you both bob, you could just get crushed. So I don't know, but I haven't tested the variations of that matchup like enough. But I had fun. It was a good tournament. It was well ran. I wish tournaments would stop having a lunch break in the middle.
I hate it.
Everyone does that. I'm just like, can we just finish the tournament?
Yeah, can we just please not add a round for nothing? Like, what'd you say, Taylor?
The best part of me going to an event is to get the early morning breakfast.
Right.
Like, I'm pretty much like full, and then they're like, "Oh, lunch break at like noon," and I'm like, "Well, I'm still full from that breakfast that I just had."
Yeah,
that was
like, I'd rather Swiss finish, and then whoever's in top cut can go get dinner, and the rest of the people have to suffer in top cut. So
I always thought that was a ploy in events because enough comic shops were close enough to bars. It was like, well, I had breakfast, but I could have a drink or two. And then I just rolled the bar during lunch break and then roll back in. And like, they're just loosening me up. That's what this is. And that's not nice.
Yeah, the store on Saturday they bought pizza and like they bought like I think it was like Pizza Hut. I don't know. I walked next door to like the burrito shop, but like I almost would rather them just like add whatever money they took from like the entry fees back into like a prize pool than like buy lunch, But anyway, I had fun. I'm disappointed with 303, but oh well. Logan, did you play any Fab this weekend?
This weekend, no. I just played some on Thursday. This weekend I was working the last weekend of my side hustle vending magic cards. That was a hot 16-hour day. But the Thursday we just played some Blitz as an armory event. So nothing major. I KO'd people because it's just way too much fun to roll dice. Doing 23 is still a lot of fun to people on turn 1. So in Blitz, where your life total starts at 20.
Yeah, is 23 sufficient? Or
yes, it was pretty good. We had our claws up to 13, I think, at one point. So we were just
why are you allowed to have that happen?
Because they let you have a card called Ready to Roll, and you get to roll multiple dice.
No, I know, but it's bananas that like.
And so then you get a couple of you just get a couple of those bad beats, and then you hit on all those, and suddenly they're 13s. Whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever played a single game of Blitz in Flesh and Blood.
You gotta play the team format on Friday, man.
Where's that at?
There's a team on Indy. Yeah, there's a team format.
Team Blitz?
Yeah,
on Friday night.
Yep.
I wonder. I actually don't even know the format. I heard it's like, isn't Benji like there's a Benji OTK or something?
Yep. Yep. There's Benji OTK. There's KO dice rolling. There's Kasai Sabers, which is actually just way good. There's Reinhardt is very good. Chain is very good. So it's pretty open. You can do a lot of different things in Blitz. It's not as narrow as people kind of make it out to be sometimes. Like Benji is the bar to clear has always been Ira in Blitz.
Yeah.
Because it's real easy to just pitch a blue for 0, Kodachi you, thing, pass.
Yeah.
Repeat over and over and over again with 0 thought and win the game. Because eventually they're just going to accidentally Kodachi lock themselves, which is what we call when they go to 1. Because now you have to block every Kodachi, you're never going to have a hand again. So you can't do anything. That used to be the barrier of entry, but it's opened up enough now that it's not like that anymore. So Blitz is actually somewhat entertaining when before it really wasn't. But yeah, Team Blitz, it should be fun. Nobody can play the same hero as their teammates, so it has to be 3 different heroes on the team. So it's not going to be as paint by numbers sometimes as other things can get. So I think it'll be fun, personally.
I'm with you though, Daylon, that I've played 0 Blitz. So Like
Abby does though because she can only shuffle 40 cards.
Yeah, she's got small hands. So, yeah,
tiny hands.
She's got like Donald Trump hands.
I mean, carny hands. Yeah. Quick reminder: we have the 5K coming up at the Realm in Mansfield. Yes, a 5K, a Flesh and Blood 5K. That is taking place the week after Indy, so that's on the 25th, I believe.
I think so.
Or 26th, one of the two. Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong.
Indy is the 19th, so the Realm 5K is on the 26th. Yep.
You can the giveaway for the free seat in that event. We will pay. Well, your entry fee will be paid courtesy of Flesh and Pod.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
I said courtesy of. I didn't say we paid for it. I mean, we pay for other shit. I mean, I sent a Courage and Blade Hold to Australia.
It's in like Mansfield,
Ohio.
Oh, Mansfield, Ohio. Okay.
Yeah,
it's in between Cleveland and Columbus. So you just like flying to Cleveland or flying to Columbus. Flying to Cleveland's probably way cheaper.
Yeah, way cheaper.
Okay.
But you'll be in camp at that point. So.
Yeah. I will be. I wonder if we have that weekend off though. Who knows?
All right. Well, I mean, catch a plane.
I think a 5K is worth driving or flying in for. Like,
yeah, especially in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, come to our Discord, react to the pinned post, to get yourself a shot at that free entry. To the 5K. I can't get over that $5,000 Flesh and Blood tournament, not run by LSS. So yeah, we'll announce the winner on the 315 show. So not this week, but next week. We need entries by the 13th.
Yeah, by Sunday was your best bet, depending on when I draw it. So, but it's only like $45 even if you don't win the seat.
Yeah.
A bunch of people have asked like about flights in, and like Cleveland or Columbus is great. Abby will tell you that there's great restaurants to eat at. There's not. It's a small hick town in the middle of Ohio, but it'll be fun. We'll be there. It'll be a good time. So if you're listening to this and think you want to play some Flesh and Blood, come on out.
I would like to point out that Jordan forgot that there's only one member of this cast that listens to this show, and it's Abby, and she will not allow Mansfield slander by anyone other than herself. So Jordan's life on Tuesday is going to get needlessly complicated if he's brave enough to leave that in the show and not edit it out. So we're going to find out.
I'm from a small town as well, so like I always defend like the small town food places. We got a place like not too many people have, like Chicken Express.
Okay,
like, a lot of people don't have it, and it's so good. Like it's literally, I think it's the best. And then we have a snow cone stand that for some reason serves really good baked potatoes. So you get a snow cone and a baked potato. You know
what?
They're like huge.
Possible?
Are they like gourmet baked potatoes with like a bunch of shit in them, or are they like just like a baked potato with butter?
They fill them up with like I get the OG stuff, right? So like the bacon bits, the cheese, the sour cream, all that. But like you can put like chicken tenders or other like chopped beef. I think they got a lot of stuff that you can put in, and like every day after school, I mean it's like packed. Like 3:30, the line is like wrapped around the entire building, and it's like this little small snow cone shack. Like it's insane.
That's awesome.
I'm looking at small town vibes.
I'm looking at the menu for Chicken Express right now, and this place is country. You can get livers. You can get livers and gizzards. Man, and a 44-ounce drink. This place is Texas.
Yeah.
I have. So I freely admit, like my favorite thing is chicken and waffles. Right. I just feel like though that combination is perfect, and I'm going to talk about bread for a second because waffles are bread. And there's a place in Richmond called Comforts, downtown Richmond. Awesome joint. I went in and ordered the chicken and waffles. I swear that chicken that morning had a name, and they killed that chicken by drowning it in buttermilk because that's what it tasted like.
Jesus.
And then they bring out like the syrup, and it's like, this isn't syrup. This is a literal maple reduction. You took maple sap and reduced it on flame here, and then brought it out to me. And with a little sage. This is too good. Like this is not. You are putting in front of me the reason I am fat, because there's no way I could ever not eat this. And I have never had anything better since. That was almost 10 years ago. So. Yeah. So yeah, good segue though. So Daylon, let's talk about you. You are our guest.
Mhm.
And as I said before, you open invite, man. Anytime you want to come on and say something or just be part of the show, you are more than welcome. We are
Thank you. Thank you.
excited to have you here. So what's the background? Where are you from? How did you get into games and card games in general? Like, talk about you for a minute.
Yeah, so I'm from Gladewater, Texas. Little small town in East Texas. Most people don't know where it's from. I always tell them like I'm 2 hours from Dallas. I'm like, oh, okay, you know. But yeah, I didn't really start playing card games until I got into college. I started off by playing Match the Gathering in the back of a Hastings.
Oh, right
Um,
on.
yeah, like in college, and I remember we were playing and we were playing and we were playing, and we would always play modern because everyone just had like old cards and stuff like that. So it was around the time of Ode to the Gatewatch where I think like this Eldrazi, colorless Eldrazi deck had literally just destroyed the Pro Tour. I think it's like
Eldrazi Winter
yeah,
is what it
because
was
the
called.
conversion rate was like insane. So I picked up all the cards, I brought it, and for like 4 or 5 weeks straight, I was just destroying everyone, right? And it was like a casual setting.
That's the
I was kind
best.
of the only one. Yeah, I was kind of the only one competitive, and so they kind of transitioned to more of an like EDH style. And there was like one day I came and they're like, "You have an EDH deck?" And I was like, "EDH deck," and I was like, "No, I don't." And they're like, "Oh, well, you can't play." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, this is what I normally do on my Fridays." So I saw like when I was leaving, I saw that they had like a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that Saturday. So I was like, okay, I got a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'll show up. And I showed up, and this guy was there, and he was like, "Hey, man, if you play, like, we have a local shop or whatever." And I was like, "Really? How far is it?" So I put it in Google Maps or whatever, and I was like, "Wow, this is actually like 10 minutes away from my townhome in College Station where I played at Texas A&M." And I was like, "Okay, I'll go up there." And I went up there, and being around like all these nerds, it's a really big shop. Started playing all these card games, met some friends, and after that, like I got addicted. I started off playing Dragon Ball Super, and then I transitioned to Pokemon. I
You
was
jumped
really
right
fun.
in.
You played all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Holy
It's
shit.
everything I wanted, right? Because coming from a small town, I don't have that. Never had a shop. Never been to a locals.
Mhm.
So I was there, and I probably like every day after practice, every day after class, I probably stayed up there from about like 5 o'clock to the time they closed, which is like at 1. So I was up there just playing, and playing, and yeah, that's pretty much how I got into card games. Came across Flesh and Blood. It was my first year in the league, and the pandemic had just hit, and I was bored, stuck in the house, and so
You're in
I
Baltimore at that point, right?
yeah, I was in
Yeah.
Baltimore, So it's my first off season. Just got all this money, can't go anywhere because the entire country shut down. So I'm looking at like any card game I can play, sitting at the house, and that's when I came across Flesh and Blood. So I bought 36 boxes of First Ed Alpha, Welcome to Wraith. And man, yeah, I still remember to this day. Opened up a tunic, looked at the foiling. It's code foil, right? Code foil First Ed. I'm looking at the foiling, and I'm like, man, this card looks like weird. Why is the foiling on this? And I just kind of threw it to the side. Didn't even think anything of it. Just kind of threw it to the side. And I ended up going to camping with the Giants, and my girl, well, my fiance now, was moving out of the place, and she was like, "What do you want to do with all these cards?" And I told her, "Oh, you just throw it away," because she was stressed out. She was having to move the entire place by herself, and yeah, she threw 36 boxes of
Oh.
First Ed, Welcome to Razor.
Does that just make you sick now?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh dear.
it's fine though. It's not even like it's not even that big a deal. She's very successful in what she does. So I mean, she more than makes up for the amount of income she brings in on a yearly basis. So it's not even that big of a deal.
No, sure. You didn't know either, right? It's just like these are just cards.
Every time like I probably got like 36 boxes for like I mean the game was super cheap when it first came out.
Sure.
Especially the first box. It's like 36 boxes for it couldn't have been no more than $3,000.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, so but I mean just looking at the prices when I saw like a graded tunic, I'm like, man, I know for a fact I pulled at least 2. And like graded First Ed is probably, I don't know, like what, like 20, 30, 40K? I don't know.
I feel like I should be doing shots right now instead of drinking beer because I just feel stressed listening to this. Jeez. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm really curious what a graded cold foil tunic is.
I mean, we have the internet, we have the technology. You
There's
should
an
know that.
8K ungraded one on TCG Player right now.
Okay. Yeah, so I think the like it probably was super bad because the pandemic, right?
Right.
All card prices just like jumped. To
Oh
the
my
roof.
God, yeah.
Mhm.
But like reality is probably like 10 to 20. I don't know.
I think
Probably
that's
be like
probably
expensive,
right.
like,
Yeah, I mean, a graded one. I've seen graded ones go up. Graded nines go up in like the 18K range, 12 to
Yeah.
18K.
That's insane.
Which is,
I
mean, you can like win a battle hardened or something, get the skull cap, and like kind of make that back. So
Yeah.
close, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I would immediately try to trade for like an unlimited bonus, to be honest. Like I would I'd just be transferring investment portfolio. But
yeah, that's what I like to do. I try to never use my actual money to buy like cards. I try to just like trade in this, trade in that, get this, get the stuff I need.
yeah, and like I said, I my last event, sadly, because the next event, the actual last event for the company that I work for as a card vendor, as a buyer, is the same weekend as New Jersey. So my boss was like, "Oh, well, that sucks for you," and I'm like, "No, that sucks for you because I'm not going to New Jersey."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Oh, well, that's awkward then." I'm like, yeah, I know, right?
First, I'm so crushed I can't go. I'm actually gonna message James White and be like, this PTI.
Let's make it happen.
Can I bank it, or if I can't go, like if I can't bank it, I'm just gonna tell him, hey, could you just send it to the person that I beat because I can't go to the Pro Tour, so I don't want him to miss out if I can't even go.
Right. I was gonna ask you if like they would let you make yours transferable, like because like A, you're a great ambassador for the game, and B, like either transferable or lock it to another event, right? Like that seems very fair for like using your following to make the game more popular, you know?
Yeah. There's a time I was actually supposed to meet James White in Austin, and he actually talked about it one time, and I was surprised he remembered. We were supposed to meet in Austin. It was like the first calling in Austin, and I think like either I had to go to camp or something happened where I couldn't meet. And he was talking about it, and then like I remember going to like my locals, and everyone had listened to like the video where he said it, and they were like, "Dude, you stood up James White!" Like I'm like, look, like it wasn't my fault, you know. So glad James was understanding. Hopefully, I can meet him and talk to him about it one day, and he's like, "Hey, man, look, sorry."
Or if he's like, "Hey, I would, but like you stood me up one time, and I felt like an asshole." You know?
That might be when you're like, okay, James, but realize. You're not screwing me by doing that. You're screwing the other guy. So why not let it pass down? It'll be fine. Yeah. I think they'll be receptive, honestly. Having actually had a conversation, and I'll get into this later, with Organized Play with LSS personally. Nicest people on the planet. Not gonna lie. Like, oh wow. I was blown away. I thought they were pretty amazing. So
yeah, they really were. The whole when they sent me my reveal card, they're really nice. Talking to Sasha and they were like really nice with how we do the reveals, everything, the promotion leading up to it. Just very nice people.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We definitely need you to work on our behalf to get us a preview card now. So we're going to try to leverage this relationship, sir. I apologize that you are now going to be a tool to our ends. That's not true. We're not.
Season is like really, really insane for this game, especially on Twitter. Seeing everybody like interact with the cards and stuff it was one of the most fun experiences I've had. Besides, like getting drafted to the NFL, but yeah,
casually.
Experience.
Just casual. The other one was getting drafted. Sure.
you mean Flesh and Blood doesn't compare to the premier sports organization in the world?
Apparently not. Although I think we can speak for the entire Flesh and Blood community that we are all Tampa Bay Bandits fans at this point, because you are now a Tampa Bay Bandit, right? Like that's the next thing.
I was looking at the jerseys too, and I was like, man, this would be an insane like throwback. I'm like, man, you're a fan. Like Baltimore Ravens, Daylon, but have you seen like Tampa Bay Bandits, Daylon? I feel like those jerseys are going to be pretty cool. So I really like our team colors. I actually can't.
Are those out there? Can we look at those?
Yeah, they should be out.
Yeah, they're out. They're
Red and something else.
Yeah, it's a horse. ShopUSFL.com is the website. Yeah. The jerseys are clean, to be honest.
They are clean. That looks a little SMU-ish. I'm surprised that you're okay with that. But
my only gripe is that the USFL doesn't realize that all of their fans are going to be fat like the NFL does. The NFL gets it. Everything comes in a fat guy size.
They know us. Yeah.
There's T-shirts that stop at 2X on the USFL. I'm like, God damn it, I want to buy your shit. Like, let me.
Yeah.
I'll buy a hat like I do for everywhere else, but please.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that in general, because like no one wants to wear a tight jersey. Like,
right.
I'm kind of mad that my Toon Squad jersey I got on right now is fitting a little tight on me right now.
Fill it out, as it were.
Yeah.
I mean, just so you know, like all the jerseys that sit in my closet, except for one that was a gift, are all offensive and defensive lineman jerseys. Every single one. Nope. We don't wear the wide receiver jersey when you're pushing when you're over 3 bills. No.
Yeah.
We wear the left tackle jersey or the 3 technique jersey. That's what we're wearing. We got the Gilbert Brown jersey. We got the David Bakhtiari jersey. We're not doing any of this 185-pound wide receiver stuff. Nah, can't do that.
So we talked about whether Fab obviously doesn't compare to being in the NFL, but what skills are transferable? Because it's not often that a top level athlete in any sport is also very good at card games like you are, right? That's so.
There are 2. They're Yazoo and Cassius Marsh. That's it. That's the list, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's very small club if there's any other people, right? So what have you found? Does anything translate, or are you just great at both things independently?
Yeah, I think a lot of things from football translates really in life itself, but that's that's another story. But there's just the grind and knowing you got to put in the hours to be good at Fab. You can't just show up and expect to win. There are times where you can show up and just do well when you put in a minimum amount of testing, but the odds of that happening are very, very slim. Things have to really align for you to come in and do that. You either are playing your most favorable matchup all day, and just stuff like that. But if you want to get in there and consistently do well, you got to put in the hours. And right now, I'm playing 10 games a day just for ProQuest season, but over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be playing 20 games a day, getting ready for Indy. Just because I know it's more than likely going to be the last calling I can attend for the year. So I want to do really well, make sure I get my elo as high as possible in case there's elo events or invites that go out in the future. But yeah, just the grind, just like football. Football, you can't just show up to the game. You got to practice, watch film, put in the hours, take care of your body. So just the grind. The grind is pretty much the same, and you got to put in the work to do it. Maybe
this is a harder question than a podcast interview, but how do you put yourself there? How do you put yourself in the this is just going to be? It's not necessarily even going to be fun. It's just going to be work. And how do you do that? Because I'm always impressed by people that are excellent at things, and that's a common answer. And I am not obviously excellent at much in life, and that is a really cool perspective of how you can just go, I'm just going to fucking be great at this and work hard until I drop, Yeah,
it's I'm not sure. I try to view it as not work. When I was in the NFL, it was work, but it's hard not to enjoy it.
Sure.
There were definitely some days where I'm man, this sucks. Getting up at 5, or it's hot as hell out here. And there's definitely some times in Fab too where I'm just man, I'm tired. I don't really want to watch this, video. But the knowledge and the advantage you get by just putting in, that time, especially in football, right, where it's hot, but it's hot for the other team too. So if you go, hard and, get your work in, and then the other team is they don't go as hard as you, then you'll get, the rewards over them, or you'll play better than them. And that translates in Fab too, right? Because a lot of times people are, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with net decking, right? But don't be a net decker and then not test. Don't just take the list and be this is the list. I'm going to play it. Everyone said this is the best deck. I'm just going to take this list and win. It's okay to play the same deck if you've played the same deck, then you tested it all week, understand the matchups, the cyber play, and all that stuff. Then if you don't do well in the tournament, then you can kind of be upset. Or I wouldn't even say be upset. I would just say maybe you need to approach it differently, because in Fab, for the most part, the best player wins, and the same in football. The better team wins
most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. Any given Sunday, right?
Yep.
The better team can lose, but whoever plays better wins. I'll say that. Like,
Sure,
whoever,
there's not
right.
variance in the
The
outcome.
best team
yeah.
that day wins. Yeah,
whoever is the best on that day, which is what the Bengals just did to people this year.
they
Like,
did. Yeah,
they were not the better team in a lot of situations, but they played better when it mattered, and that's fab too. Like, you can be playing against someone like, oh man, in testing I beat you 1,000,000,000,000 times, and then you get in the tournament and you beat that person because they play better than you. And a lot of times when you lose in fab, like, it's because your opponent play better than you. Which there are some like unfortunate situations with variance, but for the most part, it's always going to translate to you probably got outplayed.
yeah. That's one of the things about Fab that I think is super different for me coming from Magic is that the variance is much lower, and it is more. You are more favored by a lot by being the better player.
Yeah, like I could beat Luis Scott Vargas if he got flooded.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Or something like that. But,
but I'm not going to beat Hayden. I'm not going to beat Hayden Dale. Like.
No, I think if I looked right now, I actually do have one win against LSV, and if I remember correctly, I'm 3-0 lifetime against Jerry Thompson. So whatever.
That's how I know variance is real.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I like Fab. Like, I played so many card games, and then you just play Fab, and it's just like, wow, like I get to play every game. I'm a big fan of like video games where you get to like choose your like Diablo 3. I'm a huge fan of Diablo 3. I like games where you get to choose your class.
Why you gotta keep making us like you? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, this dude just keeps coming in. He's just like, yeah, Diablo 3. I'm a giant. Oh, Jesus, fuck. All right,
man,
cool.
I'm a huge nerd. Like, I wish I wasn't in. I was gonna play Lost Ark, and
let's go, bud.
I'm just in Fab mode, so I haven't really got a chance to play it. And my friend's like, you need to play Lost Ark. And I was like, the game has been out for 2 weeks. I'm probably a year and a half behind now. Like, people are going to be so far ahead of me that I just can't, like, games like that. Like, and I've done it before. Like, there's been times where, like, the game, like I did in Diablo, like, oh, the game just dropped. Boom. I'm playing from the moment the game drops. I'm trying to get ahead as far as possible. I do wish Diablo had a PvP mode, but, like, it's kind of not a PvP game. But that's my only gripe with that. I love Diablo, though.
Man, when you get ready to start on Lost Ark, let me know and I'll help get you caught up. I'm addicted to that game. I can't stop. I cannot stop. What's that?
Yeah, I'm about to jump into Elden Ring. So I'm about to I'm going to be in the Elden Ring mode. I'm going to need to purchase controllers in bulk, most likely, because I'm probably throwing shit at walls.
I can't do Souls games, man. I can't do them.
So hard.
Yeah. So like I saw when I was in college, my friend Nick was playing Dark Souls, and like I'm literally watching him like just rage. I'm like, oh, dude, can you believe that? I'm like, man, is there really a game that makes you this mad? And I was obviously like, and it just depends because it's hard to. It really is hard to multitask. Like it's hard to be all in on Fab and then go play like Elden Ring or Lost Ark and then expect to be really good when like there's someone else who's just playing like nonstop. Like I probably play Fab like all day, literally like all day. I'm constantly thinking about it. Constantly like thinking about what I can do to my deck. Constantly watching videos. Constantly talking to my team about it. Like I'm pretty much all in with Fab. So it's hard for me to go sit and dedicate like you dedicate 6 hours playing Lost Ark. That's not even a lot. That's just like a casual like
that's
you're a casual Lost Ark player if you're only dedicating 6 hours.
Yeah, you're doing dailies. That's about it, right?
Yeah. So it's hard to like be really 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 good at that stuff. But like if it was the off season for Fab, then I would have 100% have dove in and tried to be as good as possible at the game.
Sure. You remind me of Logan will know who this is. Are you familiar with Dan Gable, the championship like American wrestler from like the 70s, right?
I personally know Dan Gable, but yes. So
Daylon, are you familiar with Dan Gable at all?
No, I'm not familiar with him.
He's a former collegiate Iowa champion, U.S. gold medalist in wrestling, like during like the Soviet Union era.
He's considered the greatest wrestler, American wrestler of all time.
Yeah,
amateur wrestler.
Yeah, and you remind me a lot of him because I read his biography in high school when wrestling was like my life or whatever, and he would say that he would wake up at like 3 a.m. just because he couldn't sleep, and he'd go, well, it's about the time the Russians are going to start training, so I might as well go do a workout too. And he would just like go do his normal workout at 3 a.m, and then when he would normally do a workout during like normal American hours, he would do a workout. And that kind of made me think of when you were like, there's guys that aren't playing Lost Ark So I can't really be if I want to beat those guys, and there's guys like it's hot for them too, you know.
Yeah.
And that kind of that's really fucking inspiring actually. But I heard that instantly thought of Dan Gable as like in terms of the competitor of like waking up and being like, well, if the Russians are working out, I might as well work out. And
Yeah, Dan Gable's basically the patron saint of Iowa in general, like as a whole. So
he's the biggest Iowan probably, right?
John Wayne
Okay.
probably has him, but Johnny Carson's probably close too. But the yes, like Dan Gable is to this day is alive, kicking, doing things. And it's funny that my high school, one of my high school PE teachers was the state runner-up in Iowa all 4 years that he wrestled because he wrestled the same weight class as Dan Gable, and then went to Iowa State and on a scholarship, and then gets told at Iowa State that we need you to change weight classes. Why? Because Dan wants to wrestle at that weight class. Oh, you. So he got punked by Dan like all the time, but he's still like an all-American wrestler. He's still very good. But
yeah, whenever I think of elite competitors, Tiger Woods and then Dan Gable come to mind. And then so like the way that like Daylon, you were describing that made me think like, oh, this guy has like the same vibe as that, and that was really kind of like
that mentality.
Makes
really,
me want to jam some TTS games. Like it's instantly I'm just like actually like fuck this podcast.
Especially in Fab, right? Like, I mean, it's the number one to me. It's the number one TCG in the world right now. But like, there's everyone in the world's playing it, right? So like, if you're not playing, then the New Zealanders are probably playing. The Australians are playing. You know, the Germans are playing. Like the Euros are playing. Like everyone, you know, someone's playing Fab somewhere, trying to get better, breaking the format, and you're not playing it.
And at some point in time, we're going to get the Japanese in there, and it's going to be real because they're very good at everything they do too. So.
I honestly think that like right now there's like a minimal amount of like Magic players, but like once
it's shrinking, it really is shrinking.
Yeah, once whatever happens with Magic the Gathering happens, I don't know where they're going. I'm assuming that we're going to get a lot of more Magic the Gathering players to come over, and when that happens, then the entire like dynamic of the game like kind of changes because like right now there's a couple of good articles you can read on like, you know, how to, but there's nothing like, you know, back in the day when Star City Games was pumping out content and all that stuff.
Yeah. Who's the beat down?
Yeah, you can like level up really, really quick by just reading an article. There's nothing in Fab like that yet. But like when that moment comes, like that's when everyone gets that massive level up and, you know, people start thinking outside the box, you know, formats are going to get crazier, everything. So
yeah,
more like every deck gets to play. There's a couple of decks that are like kind of keeping a little bit of stuff outside the format, but like you have to prepare for so much more because every deck can play and any deck can win.
Yeah, case in point is one of my very close friends is a Pro Tour champion from Magic, and yesterday he was like, "So it's calling an indie. My requirements are," and I'm like, "Here we go." He's like, I need you to be able to give me a deck. I'm like, I literally own playsets of every card in this game. He's like, great. I need a ride to Indy. I'm like, got you. He's like, and I need a place to stay. If you're cool with the floor, you can stay in the Fap House. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna get you with you then.
Wait, who's staying?
So
with
I
us?
may just be Wyatt Darby.
Oh shit! Okay, cool.
The Glory Bringer himself.
Yeah, Wyatt's cool.
Wyatt's
I've definitely heard of him before. I'm trying to think of what Pro Tour it was.
Pro Tour Amonkhet. So he's the one that ripped the Glory Bringer off the top and slammed it, and the Ragavan token and the Glory Bringer killed his opponent when his opponent played a little too tentatively.
I'll have to
Because
watch
he was
that.
afraid of an Abrade. So it was he ripped an Abrade on the exact turn he needed. Basically, he had to have back-to-back rips of the exact right card, or he loses in game 5. And so he rips the Abrade to blow up the other guy's Sky Sovereign, and then rips the Glory Bringer to then just win the tournament. It is 100% on YouTube, easy to find. It is the most intense thing I've ever watched. I'm sitting there with just tears in my eyes because, again, somebody I've known for 10 years, just hitting the biggest, you know, go big that you can possibly hit doing this game.
Yeah.
When it looked like there's no way he could win.
When we get the Chapins of the world and like the Jerry Thompsons and like, I mean, I know like LSV's a little bit into Fab now, but like I think that's more of like a Channel Fireball owner than it is like a player. Like we're in for it as a community, man. Like
Yeah, literally, really into it.
Like the quality of play will drastically rise, right?
I want that bar raised too, honestly. Like, let's see it. Let's do this. It is Magic is not as transferable to Flesh and Blood as people kind of make it out to be sometimes. It is a different way of thinking.
Yeah,
And
it really is. But it's way different how you have to think about the game and approach it.
So I don't think that these guys can walk off. Some of these guys are going to expect to walk off the street and be good, and they're not going to be. And it's going to frustrate them. And then the really good ones of that group are going to go, oh, okay, challenge accepted. And they're going to dive in, and they're going to spend the hours. They're going to take the time. They're going to make themselves good. And those are the scary ones. And that's just going to make this game better and give you better ambassadors, give you better content, give you better everything. And honestly, that's what gives me the most hope for this game growing, is that hasn't happened yet. And we're still staring down the barrel of 1,000-person tournaments, right? Like, these are things that happen still.
I think Indy is going to be the first 1,000-player tournament.
I 100% believe it will be. I talked to so many people, and they're just like, yeah, we're going. And then people that haven't played in a Flesh and Blood event are like, I'm going to go to Indy and play Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
I'm like, great. Perfect. I'm in. Like, let's do this.
My community is primarily Magic players, right? Like my friend group. And I have heard more people say they're going to play Flesh and Blood than they are going to play Magic. And that's kind of crazy for a Star City event. Like,
yeah,
Magic wants to drop the ball.
Star City event.
Yeah, right. It's an SD event.
Like, it is the Magic company, right? And like most people are like, yeah, I don't know what's a Pioneer, So like, I'm excited, man. I'm so excited. Like, even if like I'm probably gonna play the main because like the spike in me will let me not play it, but part of me also just wants to go and just like be in the vibe, like just vibe all weekend,
Right. We kind of fell into this weird groove, I think, as at least this is for me. I don't know, Jordan, you can kind of speak to this, but I never, and I talked to this, I mentioned this when I was talking to LSSOP as well, that I played Magic for 26 years. I started in 1996. And still, have decks. I still can build. I have still modern decks, legacy decks, EDH, whatever. I still play on occasion, go to a pre-release. I never, in 26 years, engaged with Magic the amount I engage with Flesh and Blood. Like 26 years, and now we're on month 8 of playing Flesh and Blood, and my engagement with Flesh and Blood is already higher. Like, what more can you say? Like, that is incredible. They're doing the right things. They're making this about the players, and that's incredible. I didn't know that was the right thing to do until somebody did it. But I think we're gonna let's go to Red Thread of the Week. What do you think?
I think that's actually a really good transition. And speaking of them making the good, we don't need to talk about Prism and Bravo being everything.
Oh, no, we don't. Unless you have something you want to say about Prism, Daylon. I know that you and Prism are good friends. I
never really liked this deck until like right now. Like I'm like, wow, this I really like this. I just really like it. It's to me, it's Prism, Starbone, Viscerai. Lexi's kind of like sliding in there, but I played like 6 games earlier today against Ice Lexi and destroyed it. And I was just like, all right, just was trying to see what people are playing this deck. They don't know what they're doing, so that's it. That's all I needed.
I think I'm going to give Katsu a shot this coming weekend. I think that there's a lot of Prism running around here, and Katsu has a pretty decent shot at going wider than Prism can deal with in some instances. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to test it, and if not, back to OTK.
How fun is the progress with Katsu, but don't bring that to the calling.
What? No, I'm not. No.
Yeah.
Your medical just got shot in the face, Logan. Oh god,
yeah.
It's not the first time. It's fine.
Don't bring it to the calling. I remember like I'm actually happy that all these Lexi players are like trying to play because they destroyed Brute and Brute like. So I played against one at the Pro Quest I won, right? I destroyed it, and I was like, I thought this was actually a bad matchup for me, but it went good. Then I played against one at this Pro Quest I just went to this past weekend, and I mean that's literally just that's how it goes, right? Like I had one round where I didn't draw yellow for 2 turns in a row against Prisoner, so I lose, right? And then I play against a Brute player, and I mean he just high rolled me. So like at that point, you can't really even. I wasn't mad that I went 4-2 because I played well. Like every other matchup that that. And I beat a chain, beat 2 Viscerize, and beat a Kano. So, you know, the measuring stick was against the 2 Viscerize and the chain player. You know, that was like supposed to be the hard matchups of my tournament, the ones that I should lose. The Brute matchup was, I don't think I'm unfavored. He was just rolling very high with his dice, and to the point to where I should have just like, all right, man, here's my dice. Let's try your luck a second time.
We're gonna trade these off.
Yeah, because I was playing Gambler's Gloves too. Like Gambler's Gloves was literally my 80th card, and I sat down, and the guy was like, "Oh yes, this is why I play Rhino. I get to play against Prism." And I'm like, "Okay." Well, I said, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's nice." Because in my head, I'm thinking, "Man, every person that's ever said that to me has literally got obliterated. Like every time they think they're like, I'm favored, okay." And they play, and they're like, "Man, this has never happened to me before." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that's karma." Like,
yeah, you were kind of a dick. You deserve this.
Yeah, card game of karma is so real. But those are the only 2 matches I lost. And I can't even really be mad. It's just like an unfortunate situation, and then a high roll situation from the wrong deck. Like I'd rather get high rolled by Star Roll than Reinhardt.
So that's the thing about Fab. Like, there's no such thing as non-games for the most part. There just aren't. But there's still some variance, right? Like you can still play well and lose. It is part of the game. And I think that's important for people, especially people who are very and it's always weird to say this because I don't have better words to put it, but it's people who are bad at losing. For them to understand that you can do everything right. You can play well and still lose. It is real. You're not going to win every time. It might seem to some people that that's a commonality, but that's not it. So accept it's control what you can control. And at that point, you play your best. If you played your best and you're comfortable with the fact that you played your best, don't be mad about it. That's really it.
Yeah, my Brute player opponent was also kind of a dick too, because like
that will happen.
He was like whistling and all this stuff, and people were looking around, and then like I'm like I really don't ever get tilted because I really don't care that much. Like especially after I already have a PTI. Like I care who's at an actual calling. I'm like, dude, this is you're not actually being a professional right here. But it was ProQuest or like casual events. So like he's whistling, doing all this stuff. I can tell he's feeling good because he's high rolling me. He's whistling, acting like, oh yeah, I'm so skilled. I'm like, well, it's not even your skill. You're rolling high, but I guess it takes skill to roll the dice. Then the opponent is the person sitting next to me keeps grabbing my pen so I can write down my damage. So every time I look to the left, I'm like, buddy, can I get my pen? He's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, oh, it's cool. And so I write down the damage, and then I look again. I'm like, buddy, can I get my pen? He's like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, this is like
are you playing with the hill people? What in the world?
Yeah, I'm getting high rolled. The guy's whistling. He's getting on my nerves. The dude next to me keeps taking my pen, and I'm like, bro, are y'all on the same team? Like, are y'all just plotting against me here? Like,
I can't run a game. Like, is that happening?
Yeah, I can't even think about my plays.
Oh my god, what was he whistling? Was he whistling any song in particular, or was he just like whistling nonsense?
He's just whistling nonsense, and he would only do it after like roast scabskins. 5 started whistling. Like, bro, we get it, man. We get it. Like we get it. You're feeling good. You're rolling a 5. He even said like, "Oh, you won the ProQuest last week." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I won one." And he was like, "Okay, well, this is gonna be a challenge." I'm like, "Dude, just come on.
Just like let's play the fucking game, man."
Yeah, like we know you feel good about it, man.
Like you're gonna go tell your buddies you beat like a pro tour competitor. Like sweet, like
and so like at the end of the match, he goes, "Hey man, how you think I played?"
No, no.
Like, why are you? I'm like, this guy's trying to test me, and all my friends are. If my friends weren't around looking at me laughing, I probably would have just been like, "Dude, just come on."
Like you kind of played like a bag if you want to know the truth, but
yeah. So he's like, "How did I play?" And I told him, I was like, "You played well, man." I told him, "Good luck rest of the way." Gave him the fist bump, and I just walked off. My friends were laughing.
Oh man,
and,
yeah, you're a better person than me because I'm not. That's not what I would have said.
Yeah. I mean, I try to build good card game karma. I really, I truly believe in that, right? So like,
right.
No matter how mad you are, because I can't say that I've never gotten lucky. It sucks when people get lucky against you, but like, I mean, I've gotten lucky sometimes drawing literally the perfect hand. Like against a Visceral player I played like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm like, man, I really need 2 blues and arc light center on the yellow right here. I draw 2 blues and arc light center on the yellow and I win the game. And
Oh,
the
nice.
guy's looking at me. He's like, man, really? And I was like, I sacked you, bro. You know.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like he was like, man, is there anything I did? And I was like, bro, I sacked you.
No.
Like,
Yeah, I just got you.
know, I sacked you.
It is what it is.
I'm not even taking credit for what happened. Like, that was the perfect 4 cards I needed to win, and I drew them. So,
yeah. I talk about it a lot on this podcast, and in person too, that the most important part of playing these games to me is to be a good opponent. And by that I don't mean skill. I mean be gracious. In win or loss, be gracious. But there are limits, man. Like,
yeah,
come on, dude.
Was Whistleboy like a child, or was he like
Whistleboy? For fuck's sake, we're just gonna straight up we're gonna dead ass call this dude Whistleboy from here on out. Is that the rule? Like that's what we're gonna do?
He was a grown ass man.
Just
rolling me to oblivion.
Oh
and you know what? He didn't top either. He missed top cut, lost his win. So I mean, literally, and like he said, I listened to him talk, and he literally said, I would have. There was a turn where I needed 2 action points, and I rolled a 1, and my turn just ended. And he's like, even if I would have had 1 action point, I'd probably still win, but I needed 2.
Roll.
I said, oh, so you got greedy and you lost because of karma. And I mean, that's it literally happens that quick. Like,
all I need is an action point. Too bad the game doesn't give me one for free. You know?
Yeah,
right. I don't start with 1. Shit.
And I mean, stuff like that just happens. Like you can't get too high and get too low. Like if you lose, you just need to instantly move on, because if you lose the next one, then your tournament's probably, you lose 2 in a row, your tournament experience is probably over. Right. So you need to just forget about it as soon as it happens, and just go to the next game, play, reset, start over. You get 40 more life.
Yeah, right.
Man.
All right, Daylon, you ready for this Reddit thread?
I am.
Right, it's time for our Reddit thread of the week. Jordan, you don't have any kind of audio for this, do you? You don't have a music intro for us?
No, we don't have.
We need a better fucking editor.
We don't have Arsenal Pass money.
What an asshole.
We have mid-tier guy from Ohio money.
We have making a decent income in the Midwest money.
Yeah.
So the title of this Reddit thread is called Playing Offline Solo. And it says, I remember a year ago or so, there was a lot of talk about this game getting an official PvE mode. That is what initially drew me into the game. With that not happening yet, my interest has waned significantly. I was hoping to find some more info about this, but so far have been unable to find any news about it since October 2021. Does anyone know where this stands? Thanks.
So when I picked this thread, the reason I did it was not because of this initial post, because I totally get there are people that like PvE and that's how they engage with games. There's co-op card games, whatever. Some of the comments are wild, where people were like, yeah, Fab is absolutely blowing it by not having a PvE mode, and it's a mortal sin if this game is not solo playable. I just don't know what world people live in, man. This game is killing it.
So here's and I was again fortunate enough. So my LGS here in Iowa got an email from LSS saying, we'd like to have a phone call with you to discuss organized play. Okay, for one, WotC never ever sent that fucking email. And two, the person that runs the card side of that shop asked our community guy, Ben, and myself to be in on that call. So I got to talk to LSS's organized play. One, nicest people in the world. Not even close. Two, they literally were like, hey, if you have any other questions after the call ended, and they talked about a lot of things, send us an email and then we'll give you a call back. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, well, it usually takes about 20 minutes to give you a call back. I'm like, wait, 20 what? Did you say fucking minutes? Because I was expecting days, not minutes. I'm like, no, we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Yeah. Okay. What? Their emphasis and their passion is making this a game about players. So to say that they're fucking up by not having PvE is incredibly short-sighted. The PvP mode's coming. Be patient. There are other games you can play PvE mode on. There are so many things out
there. Go play Lost Ark.
Go play Lost Ark. You might have to upgrade PC. Who knows?
Yeah.
But as of right now, like it's coming, and you can be patient with it. But they understand that the blood of this game is in the players. And in order for this game to continue the way it has been, and this game is crushing it, like let's not beat around the bush here. They know what they're doing, and they have a plan. And having a plan is great. Like having a plan is fantastic. Executing plan is what makes you win. Like you can have a game plan all day long. You don't execute your game plan, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And they have a plan, and they are sticking to it and executing it. And this take just feels so head-assed. Like I don't get it. And maybe that's a competitive person in me. I don't know. But I play PvE games and I like them. I will play PvE Flesh and Blood when it comes out. I totally will. But it's not going to kill the game by not having it. I don't understand this take.
Yeah, I honestly think aren't we supposed to be getting a PvE
In a year? Yep.
It's like
in 2023.
It's like a team something. I don't know, like a team, and you have to like take out the person like playing. I don't even know how you could actually do PvE in Fab, because if there's like, I guess the person we're fighting against would need to start with like 100 health, 10 cards in hand, or draw up at the end of every I don't know. That would be pretty tough. Like his attacks would have to be AoE attacks. Like he'd have to hit everybody.
Yeah.
It'll be a random boss with random abilities, and the group you have will have to take it out, and the abilities will trigger every turn. There are so many games that are similar to this, but now you just get to skin them with Flesh and Blood, which is an IP that is growing in value by the day.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people on Reddit also are trying to start like insane conversations, but I can't even say that like Reddit is like a bad spot, because I remember the AMC spike with the movies.
Oh yeah.
That was a very.
Did you get paid? Did you get paid, Daylon?
No, I didn't, but I know some people that did. But
so do I.
They went from barely making it to, hey man, I'm doing good, and you should get in on this, and I'm just like, I'm not stupid. But apparently I was stupid.
Dude, I was that same guy that day. I was like, guys, one of us is going to be left holding the bag. I'm not doing it. And I wish I had done it.
Yeah, right? Like, I'm thinking, like, man, that would have been the easiest, like, $1 million ever made.
Oh, my God. People were making, like, $15K off of, like, $500. They're just like, yep, pumped and dumped it and cost billionaires a bunch of money. I'm all about it. Like,
yeah.
I made $1 out of 15 cents. Well, shit. I wish I would have done that.
Yeah, right?
Like, I totally get some of the thoughts in this thread of, like, I want PvE. I get if you're, like Arkham Horror is a very popular platform that is a similar thing. But, like, I don't buy Arkham Horror and want it to be a PvP game, because it's not, right? Flesh and Blood is a PvP game, and I think buying it expecting it to be a PvE game is weird. And like, if you bought it knowing that PvE didn't exist and then are now upset that PvE doesn't exist, what the fuck are we talking about, man? You bought like a car that didn't have a pickup truck bed, and you're mad that it doesn't have a pickup truck bed. Like, I don't get it. And like, I totally understand that you see these cards and the art is cool and the system is cool, and you're like, I want to do this the way I enjoy. But like, they're not brain dead. They don't have bad business sense. They're not bad at making this game. They're bad at designing cards a little bit sometimes. Like, but that's a different conversation.
They're bad at designing cards. I think they just love Runeblade too much.
Well, yeah, they love Runeblade too much. I think there's different design. I have no idea, but my guess would be there's different design teams that don't necessarily always talk. And like you get Stravo with Oakenold, but that's a broader conversation. I'm also like not a game designer, so it's like way harder than I probably ever think it is. But like,
I also think people, so for Fab, right? People give, they give bad takes with minimal amount of testing, and I'm a victim of this, right? Because I was testing against my teammate Brian Masoko, and I'm literally like, I'm livid. I'm like, man, I'm getting destroyed by Starvo. I'm playing Prism. Why is this happening? I'm literally on my Twitter feed talking about LSS didn't test. They didn't do this. We have a problem. The game's dying. I'm emotional. Then I started testing, and I was like, okay. So out of 100 games, those 7 were just the ones where like Oakenold, Crippling Crush, nobody can win, right?
You got Starvoed. Yes.
Yeah. And so like I had people like another one of my teammates, Flake, was like, man, I think I should pivot to Starvo. I'm like, why? He was like, man, the deck seems nice, like, and my opponent went Okino into, Crippling Crush. And I'm like, there's no deck in the game that can handle that situation. It doesn't matter what you switch to. Like, that's just, you got high rolled, which can happen. But at that point, the deck you would want to be playing is Prism, because at least you can play stuff at instant speed, so you're not actually getting like bodied and dunked on. But yeah, I've been a victim of like not testing and then giving a comment. I need to start saying it more often. People ask me about a situation, and I just need to say I have not tested it, so I cannot tell you how it is. Because people were asking me, hey, they would say like, hey, I saw Hayden Dale's playing Chrono Reflection and Tunic. Daylon, what are your thoughts on it? And I remember saying that like, oh, I think Vestige makes more resources throughout the game than Tunic, but that really wasn't. And he was asking me he was asking me Tunic versus Vestige, but like, because I didn't test the situation, I didn't actually know why Crown Reflection was being played, and like that's why you play Tunic, because you play Crown, and because Crown's good in the mirror, and you play Tunic because you don't. I mean, you don't need Vestige anymore because you're not playing Halo, because you're playing Crown, and it was way deeper than just saying, hey, Vestige over Tunic. And I'm like, this is not even the card you should be arguing. It should be Crown versus Halo.
Right.
And, that was a situation where I fell victim of not testing and giving my feedback like I was a rocket surgeon.
I did.
When I was not.
I did watch that Twitter thread, so I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember talking to Hayden about it too. He was, and then I actually watched his, which is another reason I think like you should always be watching Fab and seeing you should play Fab throughout the day, and that night watch the videos and the pro quests from the European players and see what they're doing, which is kind of how my day goes. I watch Fab, I play Fab throughout the day, talk with my team, and then when everyone's getting ready to go to sleep or we're just chilling in the Discord, we just stream some pro quest matches and then just kind of break it down and talk about their decisions and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's ideal, right? That's consuming the game in a way where you're not in siloed thinking. You're not in your own tunnel vision. It's not an echo chamber. People are going to have differing opinions, and they're going to bounce off each other, and you'll find the actual thought process behind the consensus, right?
Yeah.
You'll understand why you're doing something, and that's the most important part of anything, is the why.
Yeah.
Anybody and I do this, happens at work and I lose my fucking brain. Anybody that tells you that the reason they do something, it's because it's always been done that way, is somebody you should never ever fucking listen to. And because that's not an actual reason for anything. So context is so important, and that's the way to gain context, is to gain outside opinions, outside views, and talk through it. So doing that is just, that just sounds like perfect preparation, honestly. Like that's my take.
Because we normally look at like people's deck list, and oftentimes we go, hey, why the fuck is this guy playing this card? This card's so bad. But like when you kind of dive deeper into it and not like take it out of first glance situation, because Fab is, you definitely can't take Fab as a first glance situation on like looking at people's decks, because they're going to look like super weird.
Right.
I remember when I looked at the Starvo list at first, I'm thinking, man, this is the worst deck I've ever seen.
What the hell are these cards? Yeah.
Right.
All these cards suck. This looks like,
it's some Tales of Arya draft.
Yeah,
dog shit.
And then you actually like see it played, and you're just like, oh my god,
I never miss. What the hell? Like,
I remember looking at Charles Dunn. It wasn't even Charles Dunn. It was when Rob Seigel and Tarek posted their Starbo list. We were all laughing in the Discord. We were like, oh man, they're just doing this for clicks and views. There's no way,
This is a Channel Fireball sell some cards article. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Tarek gets in the Discord and we're laughing. We're like, dude, really, that list? And he was like, yeah, that list is not that good. And he said, but I think Starvo will win Indy. I mean, not Indy, will win Philly, the Battle Harden. And I'm thinking like, really? You think that? I'm like, okay. I mean, national champ, right? So you have to, he knows what he's talking about.
Right.
And so we get there in the event, and Charles Dunn wins. But the thing is though, like, he won, and the first place list and the third place list are the exact same.
Exact same 70. Yeah, the exact same
So
cards.
so at that point, that means that like, okay, they're onto something. And then we get back in the Discord and we start talking about it. And Brian goes, I think this guy got the math right, and I think this is the best deck in the game because it's super easy to play. So the barrier entry is not hard, right? It's like Cheerios. The barrier entry was like super easy, and it's just solid. Like on the bad turns, you know, my bad turn is play a Crippling Crush or play a Mono Crush. That's a bad turn.
Yeah.
You know?
Or attack you with a Winter's Wail, threatening Frostbite, an Arsenal card.
And I do think like I do think that the deck is strong. The only reason I wouldn't play it is not because I feel like it's easy to play. So when you judge people on how they play that deck, I don't think you should be judging them off of them using the leader ability because anybody can do that. I think you should be judging them on how they sequence, how they block, how they do stuff like that. Like that skill in the game is never going to change. Like
those are the margins. Those are the margins.
And there will always be decks where like the sequencing matters a little bit less. Like there's not much sequencing to do. Prism is a deck where the sequencing matters quite a lot. And Viserai is another one as well. But Starville is like you have to know the math behind like what you're expected to hit, what you've used up. So you have to keep track of everything, which is hard. And that is a skill in flesh and blood, like knowing what you pitched, knowing what's left, knowing which card to pitch for your crown and what card you need to draw into, like the ratios and all that stuff. Like that is a skill, that is important. And then knowing like how to approach it, when to block, when to use your stalagmite and like ice them out for a turn so they can't, you know, kill you, stuff like that. Like there is a skill in that. Like I wouldn't judge a Starvo player saying, "Oh, you're playing Brain Dead Starvo because like you reveal 3 cards and you get an effect." Like that's not where the skill of that deck is. Like
right.
And a lot of people do that.
There are games that last literally 4 turns. That will happen, and those aren't the games where those margins matter. But it's that game against Oldham where you're cycling your deck. You're going to see the cards come back where all of it matters. Every little single decision you make makes a difference.
Yeah, and it's you know, I hate when people, you know, every best deck in the game literally has like an unfair advantage, right? Like Prism is playing the closest thing in the game to permanence in ores.
Yep.
And then Starville has a split damage the entire game and an OTK plan. No, not Starville. Viserai has a split damage the entire game and an OTK plan.
Yep.
Starville has like, you know, literally dominate and, you know, the best weapon, the best equipment combo
package.
Yeah. So like literally every 3 turns for Starville is gain a life, draw a card.
Yeah.
That's so. I mean, but it goes back to like what was it, like Ultimate Gatewatch, where someone plays Eye of Lucan and plays 2 mimics, and then they play Reality Smasher on 3. Like, oh man, you're not skillful, but like sometimes the best deck just runs you over. Like, why the best deck?
Right. Yeah. I remember in GP Detroit, sitting down across Eduardo Sagalik, who won that tournament on day 2, I believe, like round 1 of day 2, and I'm like, okay, I got him this time. Like I'm in game 3, and I think I got him this time. And then he's like, okay, start locking you out with blinking Thought-Knot Seer and mill you out since I can't attack through. And I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm fucked. Thank you for letting me know that you're probably going to win this tournament because you figured out an interaction that no one else did. Great.
Yeah. That probably came through a lot of testing, right? It's like, how do we win if there's no way we can win? Oh, let's look at what win cons we have left. Oh, the middle strategy.
Yeah, just make them frustrated and make them not want to play this game anymore. That's great. That works. Which is, you know, that's like, okay, yep, you got me. There's no way I can attack through now. You'll never have a hand. So I'll never be able to attack across this ensnaring bridge. You'll always be able to just get the card out of my hand in my upkeep that I'll be able to do anything with that can get rid of the ensnaring bridge. And I'm just straight up going to lose now. Fantastic.
Daylon, you're going to be. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
No, you're fine.
No, I was going to have a dumb joke and it wasn't going to be funny.
You do your thing.
No, please close the show.
Oh, this guy's asking me to close the show.
Wrestling's on. Get the hell out of here.
Oh, this motherfucker. All right. So, Daylon, when you're in Indy, please find us. And
I get in on Thursday.
Okay, we'll be there Friday, I think.
Friday. I want to do a little bit of side events, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
So, yeah, please, when you see us, we'll be in hockey jerseys that say Flesh and Pod on them. Easy to spot.
Okay.
And also Jordan and I are
hockey fans.
I am. And I'm the one that decided on hockey sweaters and found a place that makes custom hockey sweaters, and they are like super high quality and dope as fuck. And so we all three have them, and they look amazing. So
I don't doubt that. So with like hockey, right? Like I always thought the sport was. I was like, man, hockey looks boring when you're watching it on TV. When you go, it is insane, right? Like I've been to like 2 or 3, and I'm like, man, this is like the energy in the crowd every time they get close to score. I'm like, yeah, like hockey's definitely one that I feel like you gotta go. You gotta
feel it. It goes in your veins, man. Like you can't get rid of it once it's in your veins.
Yeah.
I go to 2 or 3 a year, and that's about how I feel. I don't care at all until I go to the local NHL team, and I'm like, holy shit, I suddenly care. You know, it's like it's all of a sudden a Browns game to me. You know, like
it's cranked up the entire time.
Yeah.
So Daylon, if you find us on Friday in the event hall, please come up, say hi. But I want you to walk up to Jordan first thing and just say, "Hey, what the fuck's a Notion thief?" Because it's gonna matter for what you talked about earlier. And
I'll have to tell you that story sometime, Daylon.
You'll understand why when you ask him, and I'm just gonna die laughing because it's one of the funniest things that has ever happened. It's also how Jordan and I met. So, anyway, so please, this is Abby's job, and man, am I bad at this. But please, plug us. Find us on Twitter at FleshPod, on Discord. The link is always in the show notes. At least I think it is. If Jordan did his job, give us a 5-star review on Apple. There's no reviews on Spotify, so ignore that. If you want to reach us, you can send us an email at fleshandpod@gmail.com. It might get checked. As of right now, it belongs to Suggy Time because he's the only person to have ever sent an email. Daylon, do you have anything you want to plug?
No, I'm good.
At Daylon Mack on Twitter. I'm going to do it for him. He's all being humble and shit over here. I'm going to get him more Twitter followers. So at Daylon Mack on Twitter, and also just find his interviews that he's done across the board. This one, he also did an interview with Flake, right?
On Instant Speed, right? That was really good.
On Instant Speed. Yeah, that was awesome.
I learned so much about Prism. I don't care about the Prism mirror at all, but I was very interested. Like,
yeah.
What is it? Who do you play for in Tampa Bay? What's their like mascot? Bandits. Okay.
Yeah. We'll be watching to when they actually release official jerseys that we can put nameplates on, so that we all can represent.
That would be insane. Yeah.
You see all of us just like rolling in Daylon Mack jerseys, like tear comes to your eye that you know that you have this room of people supporting you. But I'm at Logan Peterson on Twitter. I'm followed by Daylon Mack, which he's probably just going to change that as soon as the show's over because ain't nobody need that.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Jordan, where can they find you?
Yeah, on Twitter at I'm Jerman. Tweeting like right now, it's a lot of politics and world news stuff is mostly what my Twitter is about. But I did want to shout out Fabrica, the Flesh and Pod or Flesh and Blood YouTube channel. Fabrica TCG, they're a Ukrainian channel, and they recently had to fuck off to Poland. So their like daily game uploads have stopped. But honestly, if you're like, I know a lot of our listeners are like newer Flesh and Blood players or like just kind of casually in the scene. They go through every phase of the game so cleanly. They put cards up on the screen. Like they do a variety of heroes, like some competitive decks, some like Mimi, more fun decks. So now's a great time to like go check their stuff out and like watch their backlog while they're kind of dealing with a crazy situation over there. So Fabrica TCG on YouTube, and like I said, it's actually just like good content. I wouldn't plug it if it were just like generic stuff, but it's one of the more higher
Rika, right?
Yeah. Like Rika as in Rika and Fabrica TCG. But yeah, very good TCG thing. And I wanted to say something about them because they made a post on Twitter about it. Like, yo, we're done for a while because we live in Poland now. So
right.
Yeah.
And then also just come hang out on our Discord. You get to see pictures of Daylon's dogs in the pet pics form, and this pineapple is still killing me.
Oh my god.
Want to see a pissed off pineapple? Yeah.
My wiener dog actually went viral on TikTok for like the dodo, because so at our old place, so I'm country, right? But my fiance is from San Diego, so she's like a city girl.
All right.
So there's these wild bunnies in the backyard. And I'm like, leave them alone. This is, I'm from the country. This happens all the time.
Whatever.
So for some reason, she hit full mom mode and decided to bring him in the house or whatever and take care of him. So one had died out there, but she brought one in and she named him Dash because he was fast. And I don't know what happened, but our wiener dog just decided that Dash was his kid.
Aww.
So he started like taking care of it, and
God.
she would like record him doing videos and stuff. And the dodo reached out and was like, "Hey, you want to do an interview with Graham and Dash?" Because that's why my dog's name is Graham. So, and my other one's name's Kilo. So when we got together, she already had Kilo, and he's an all white dog. So I'm thinking like, why is his name Kilo?
I get it. Yeah,
yeah. But she's like, no, when I got him, he weighed a kilo, and I was like,
1
okay,
kilo.
that makes sense.
All right,
and
well, that's different.
So I tried to like fill in, with the theme, right? So I named my wiener dog Graham, kilogram.
Yeah,
How many grams?
Right on,
Yeah.
right on.
So we're gonna get another one, and I'm gonna name it her Millie. So we'll have all the units of measurement.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
But Graham ended up going viral. He was bringing in $400 a month, so I was like, okay, carrying your weight around.
All right.
Man, I wish my cat could pay bills. What the hell?
I'll say if my cat could pay rent, that'd be fucking great. I'd be into that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so please come hang out. It is a lot of fun. We try to just have a good time in our Discord and just in general. Find us in Indy. You'll be able to, like I said, you'll be able to find us. We'll be in hockey jerseys that say Flesh and Pod, and come say hi, say you love the show, tell us we suck. I don't fucking care.
I'm bringing my cube, so if you ever want to get a cube match in and you see us, come grab me and we'll. Yeah, I'm gonna bring the cube. Daylon, if you want a cube in Indy, man.
It's like a Fab Cube or
yeah,
a
Fab Cube.
Fab Cube.
Wow, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm
I
working on some.
played a Fab Cube.
Me neither. It's just sitting in the box this whole time.
Okay.
So you'll be beta tester 1 if we get it in, but
I mean, beta tester 1 through 8. But yeah.
I need to buy 2 Fableds on Friday. That's what I got to do. So
What do you
2
need?
Fables?
yeah, I need what do I need? I need the Viscerai one and or the Runeblade one or whatever, and then not the Scry gem, the Gain a Life gem.
Artifindle.
Yep.
That one.
Yeah, I need those.
I is Opt. Arknight Shard is make a rune chant. Heart of Findle is gain life. Grandeur of Valahai is make a seismic surge.
I need
library.
a Corsham
I think Daylon knows what library does.
I need a Corsham as well.
It's funny. I actually don't even play library in Prism.
Really? Oh yeah, you have a higher red count than a lot of them when you go to sideboard, right? Like because you play the red unmovables and.
Well, it's not even that. I think library is like if you don't see it in the first 3 turns, it's kind of like a brick when you draw it.
It is because you can't block, but you can't pitch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense, and it's probably a crutch, right? Like a lot of people sort of lean into it, and it doesn't do what they need it to do, and they lose.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense to me. I have a Corsham, Jordan. We can talk through that.
Okay,
but,
cool. I won't buy one from a vendor.
Well, yeah, you can just because I'm really good at opening cold foil fables. But so yeah, please come on to Twitter, say hi to us. Thank you, Daylon, from the bottom of our hearts, man, for coming on and filling in admirably for Abby. I guess but we didn't know you're going to be filling in for Abby, but it's been great to have you. You're welcome anytime you got something you want to talk about, or if you're just like, hey, I got time on Sunday, you guys need a guest, and we're just going to say yes. So if we don't talk in Indy, which I hopefully we talk in Indy, good luck in camp. Enjoy that time. We'll be watching, man. We'll be watching and cheering on. We're big fans in general. So thank you very much. And that's our show for this week, everybody. And in my best Abby fashion, bye.